Yo, what is going on, everyone? I'm back with another review video. It is going to be on the Padsmith Empress mousepad. Very nice 2 month hiatus, I believe. There was a lot of things that did come out. I did receive quite a bit of mice and mouse pads. The biggest thing was just, a lot of things just weren't really all that impressive to me. I just don't care about certain products that are kind of just overall mid and just have the magnesium tax on it. But other than the mountain of mid that has come out over the past few months, I am very confident in saying that Padsmith has made the best, not only design, but the performance and the price glass pad that you can possibly get right now. And now a lot of companies, Skypad, are really going to have to put forth some actual effort into some of their glass products. I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but there's just a whole lot of glass pads that are kind of just the fucking same. And it is really nice to see that Padsmith are actually putting forth some level of effort to make it unique and interesting, not just from a reviewer standpoint, but also for the consumer. Now, speaking on the base, this is a fully custom base made by one of the owners of Padsmith Tunes. Him and Clank are very good friends of mine, but while they are my friends, you can, with every review that I make, always take it with a grain of salt, Trust no one other than Boardsy and Crafty Craft. Those are the only two people that you should trust fully with your heart and soul. Anyone else, you should take with a grain of salt and just see if it applies to you. But yes, take every review with a grain of salt. Everything that I say is not the end-all, be-all. I am not fucking Jesus when it comes to peripherals. I am simply another reviewer with other opinions. Everything other than Boards and Crafty Craft, everyone else you should take with a grain of salt. Those are the only two people that speak gospel. You know what I'm saying? But the base is fucking fantastic. Other than the beautiful design, it actually is the only glass pad that sticks very firmly to my. You can see my monitor shaking. You can see that. Holy shit, I just caused a 4.0 earthquake. You can see that it fully stays to my desk. This is the only glass pad. I don't know. I've said it in every glass pad video that I have done. I do not know if it is a me thing, but just judging from past experiences where every single glass pad tends to move, and this is the only one that doesn't move. This, in my experience, might be the best base on a glass pad as well. A lot of people didn't have issues with their Super Glide, Tunes included, but I'm the only one that I know of that had any issues with the Super Glide sticking to my desk. So I'm very happy that one out of the 20 glass pads that are out just stick to my desk. I'm just happy that one has finally stuck to my desk. In terms of what feet to use, I don't really use anything other than PTFE. I'm using stock G303 skates, and in all honesty, you get the same performance on glass pads, at least from what I have noticed, whether you use BTL, Tiger Ice, core pads, stock, they all kind of perform the same. The biggest difference with all of them is going to be the size and the weight of the mouse. Because the G33 has huge skates and it is on the relatively heavier side, it's going to have just a little bit more stopping power, which is what I prefer on my glass pads. I really do think that there is a place for glass pads, especially with the Skypad has always been that I am unable to get a whole lot of stopping power out of it. I do like to rely on my pad for that extra bit of stopping force because I do just kind of flick it as hard as I possibly can for as fast as I can. That's obviously a me issue. Tons of people can play Valorant with a Skypad, and that's more power to them. It's just a me thing, and that is why I'm putting it in the video to say that it is a me thing. That's why I tend to use slightly heavier mice with slightly bigger feet as well. The greatest thing about this pad, no matter the feet you use, the reason I say that it doesn't really matter is because the initial friction is incredibly light. Dynamic glide is like butter, smooth. Either this or the Super Glide is probably the smoothest glide I've had while not feeling like I'm slipping in an ice ring. The stopping power is really what sets this pad apart from everything else. The Super Glide I really, really liked because there was a minimal amount of stopping power. So while I couldn't use it for attack shooters like CS and Valorant, the Empress beats it in that regard, where it feels like pretty much exactly the same coming from initial friction to glide and then to stopping power. There is more stopping power on this pad than any other glass pad other than the Serapad Kin, the Wraith Cosmic pad, and the GameSense, Sonar. Those are the only 3 pads I will not compare it to because this is more of a speed glass pad. Those other 3 that I just listed are more control glass pads. So while this is still a amazing speed pad that I have been using for games like BattleBit, Apex more recently, and Overwatch, fuck that game. Don't play it for your mental health. When I was playing Overwatch, I was still able to use this pad. But I'm able to use this pad in things like Valorant and CS, which is amazing. That is something that I very, very much value. With glass pads in particular, I like pads that you can use in TAC, FPS, and track heavy scenarios as well. That is such an important thing to have because when you're paying more than an artisan pad, I expect to be able to use it in multiple games and not just, oh, it excels in one aspect and sucks balls in the other. I do not like that whatsoever. And now on to comparisons, because I did briefly touch on the surface, but I think the comparison portion is really the most important. Just in the quickest terms possible, the closest pad to this is the Super Glide. Unless you want the superior base and design, if you already have a Super Glide, I do not see the point in buying an Empress. However, if you want something that is kind of more in the middle, a good, like, in my opinion, more of a balanced glass pad, it's kind of cringe to say that. But the main reason I do say that is because, like I said, faster glide, stopping power. Very simple. No dumbass test where I'm fucking lifting it one side and watching the mouse fall to the other. I'm not fucking hyper autistic. I'm not doing that cringe. But comparing it to the most popular glass pad, the SkyPad, I have never been a huge fan of the SkyPad. I have been like pretty honest, at least from what I've talked to other content creators and especially on stream. I just do not like the SkyPad very much. I did use it a lot with the XE, but that's when I was only playing Overwatch. I wasn't playing any other game. So I was okay with using a SkyPad for that. And the other thing too is it was sticky as shit. I don't know if you can use a glass pad with no sleeve. I'm actually jealous. I wish I could do that. But the only pad ever that I've been able to comfortably use for long sessions without a sleeve for a glass pad has been the Empress. The closest thing I got to it was the Super Glide. The Super Glide, I was very, very close to being able to play it, I think on max for 2.5 to 3 hours without a sleeve. And then after a while, my forearm would just get way too sweaty. And it is dependent on how you play. I've seen people play all the way back here. You will have no issue. Your arm isn't on the pad. But I play with at least half to 3/4 of my forearm on the pad. So I'm playing like this constantly and a lot of forearm movement, especially in Valorant and CS where my sense is much lower. In Apex, not so much. The most I'm doing is like this, just quick swipes to like make a quick 180. But other than that, I don't really move my arms that much on my pads. That could lead to why the SkyPad and the Super Glide did feel sticky after a while. The SkyPad is the worst offender. That is probably the stickiest pad that I've used. No wonder they made a goddamn arm sleeve. The Wraith Cosmic Pad, Serapad, the OG Serapad, not the Kin. I feel like the Kin you could get away with as well, but definitely the OG Serapad had a huge sticky issue. I had to get a sleeve that covered up my palm even. It was so sticky. Sorry for the tangent, but back to the SkyPad. So other than the stickiness, like I said, the stopping power is so amazing. And just the feel of gliding like the mouse around, it feels so nice. Sorry, I'm not a professional mouse spinner, so it's not really gonna, look as nice as some other people. But the biggest thing is just the glide still feels like butter. It feels so nice to just move it around, and it's so controlled as well. I've never had an issue with flicking but not retaining stopping power, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I'll jolt like this, and that will be like a sign of like not as much stopping power for me if I jolt and then there's like still like a little bit afterwards. At least for this, when I flick, I'm stopped. I'm like sunk into the pad, which is amazing. And I'm not a huge advocate for glass pads either, which is why I very, very much like this pad. And that's also why it's actually stayed on my desk since receiving it. I think I was one of the first people to get it. I don't care who gets it first. I just don't know. I've just had this pad for around a month, I believe. I had it, I think, 2 weeks before pre-orders went live. So I want to say at least a month to 3 weeks. But yes, I have had it for quite a while, and it has not moved off my desk. The only time it does is it'll move to like underneath my keyboard arm because I'm testing another pad's base. But for the most part, I kind of just lay another pad on top of this because I just really like this Empress. And like I said, the base doesn't move for me, so I don't really want to test another base if it's going to be shit. If I'm using like a generic Odin base, I'm going to just plop it on the thing that won't move. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is pretty much all for my video. I'm trying to think of any other comparisons at the last minute that I might be forgetting. Super Glide, it doesn't have as much stopping power as the Empress, but unless you are like fully looking for it, you won't notice it. This clears Skypad, that clears the OG Serapad. So those are the two main pads that I do want to compare it to. The two most popular options for speed glass pads. The other ones that I own, again, are control glass pads, so I'm not going to be comparing it. But I just truly love this pad so much. It really, really does feel very unique. And the biggest thing is price. It is going to be the cheapest option. And I have never cared about price. Even when I was buying my things, don't think just because, oh, I get shit sent, I don't care about price anymore. I didn't care about price when I have like 4 ultralights now. I have like 3 of the starlights, and I just got the ultralight X. So I clearly don't care about price all that much. You know what I mean? I'll pay top dollar if it's gonna be actually worth it. Again, sometimes top dollar gets you mid. You know, criminal mid. And it's not that all products are criminally mid. This one. But it is just, I understand that people do not want to pay a premium price for something they feel won't really improve them in particular. So I do understand that. So that's why I wanted to talk about price in this video. But yeah, that is pretty much all for my review. I hope I got comfortably back into the swing of things. It's pretty difficult, but thankfully I was talking about a product that I actually do like. I do tend to get a lot of things I don't like. I did actually record a video that I was like, oh, I'm not too passionate about either of these products, but it's been like a month since my last review, and I just scrapped the whole thing because it was just so bad. I just didn't feel anything when making that. So the biggest thing is I want to feel like I'm actually liking the products that I am reviewing, which is why I don't review very often. If I stream, or if, you know, you ask a question on my Discord, I will promptly answer you on how I actually feel, because I simply just don't care that much anymore. It just doesn't really matter to me, you know. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you all made it to the end of the video without my rambling, and I will be streaming later. I want to say I'll be streaming right after I upload this, and I hope to see you all there. I think I'll be live on Twitch, though. I tend to get a little bit more interaction on Twitch than I do YouTube, which kind of sucks because Twitch sucks balls. I do not like Twitch whatsoever. But, you know, anything for the community, you know. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys in another 16 months when I become 45.